The biggest surprise I had coming out of my few hours of playing Halo Infinite's campaign wasn't the delightful exploration nor the incredibly fun gunplay. Instead, it came down to the characters. Halo Infinite sees the legendary Master Chief once again tasked with saving the universe from yet another threat.
Und mit Unterschädeln, ne? So sieht's dann aus.
The Chief seems tired. He's a man of few words, but his movements and responses are heavier than I've seen before. This is Chief without Cortana. His subtle yet distinct change is far from a bad thing, though. If anything, Master Chief's forlorn demeanor that he sets aside to
Das ist die Infinity.
is a great indication to me that
Infinity.
His story
Infinity.
is be a more impactful adventure.
Infinity. Leute. So, das kennen wir auch schon. Ne, The Weapon.
Chief's stern determination
Oh, da hat man jetzt nochmal mehr gesehen von der Cutscene.
new AI companion's bubbly enthusiasm and his pilot rescuer's anxiety and weariness. Given developer 343 Industries' failure to give Locke the faintest hint of a personality or motive in Halo 5, and the game's generally lackluster story, this was a relief.
No. Not then. Not again. We need to run.
I need a weapon.
Weapon? This is all I've got.
It's enough.
I Need a Weapon ist auch so ein Callback an Halo 2, was wir gleich noch spielen werden.
Rewarding exploration infused with Halo's DNA and genuinely challenging combat could be relief in today's open-world game extravaganza, where many worlds are packed to the brim with chores and only a few offer meaningful adventures beyond their main path.
Oh, the
if
Tower.
I continue the way I played in my 4-hour hands-on time,
Okay.
I think Halo Infinite could fall into the latter. That's not to say there aren't some essential elements of Halo Infinite I'm curious to see if 343 can pull off, like Chief's storyline with Cortana.
Halsey.
For now, what I played in my preview session has left me even more eager for Halo Infinite's December 8th launch.
Gut, den Bossfight kennen wir dann schon ein bisschen aus dem anderen IGN-Ding. Oh, was stand da jetzt? Für ein Objective. Mal kurz zurückspulen. Ja, reach the surface, defeat den Boss, okay. Ah, jetzt nichts mega Besonderes.
Echo 216. Can you hear me? This is UNS.
Allein dieser Moment, ne? Ah, das ist schon nice. Krieg ich jetzt ein bisschen Gänsehaut sogar schon, das ist schon gut. Oh, Ashram. Und ein anderer Brute.
They eagerly step up as Chief's main adversaries after handily defeating the UNSC around Zeta Halo.
Oha, das ist auch neu. Crazy, wie das aussieht.
Zeta Halo is unknown, but if it involves a Halo ring, there's nothing good that can come of it. After the UNSC's loss, Master Chief's main objective becomes freeing the captured Allied forces on Zeta Halo and thwarting whatever the
Noch mehr Asherum?
I am Escharum, War Chief of the Banished. This is my world now.
Oha, was ein crazy, dann steht der Chief dahinter. Das war auch eine coole Kamerafahrt.
What happened to her after Halo 5 and whether or not she's been truly destroyed is unknown. This crucial conflict seemingly takes a backseat to the larger fight with the Banished, though it is intertwined somehow. Without getting into spoilers, I will say the few moments that dug into Chief and Cortana's relationship were an emotional gut punch. Halo Infinite is looking to deliver a meaningful story for legacy Halo fans, and I really needed to fulfill that promise after Halo 5's story missteps.
She's not the driver, but a way to level the playing field.
What do I call her?
Ask her. She named herself.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
This all being said, I'm not
Ach, das ist ein Flashback dann, oder was? Ach so, okay. Jetzt check ich's erst.
As the best moments I saw in the first few hours rely on prior knowledge of the series.
Oh, da ist auch so ein Hologramm rechts von, ist das Atriox?
But I selfishly prefer that this game is made for returning Halo fans rather than tuning the story to accommodate new players. Familiar with the story or not though, Halo Infinite sure is fun to play and explore.
I think I'm with you. I didn't even know what a Banished was an hour ago, and even I can see the odds aren't great.
Ja gut, das ist auch wieder genau das, was ich meinte mit den Dialogen, dass die so viel cooler sind, ja.
Playing Halo Infinite is a mix of familiar and new. One moment you're navigating encounters in ship corridors, then the next you're driving several Marines around the open fields of Zeta Halo. As 343 has clearly stated, Halo Infinite isn't quite a true open-world game despite it featuring massive sandboxes. Zeta Halo is broken up into island chunks. Land masses can be connected by bridges, and Chief can eventually call in things like a wasp to fly around anywhere after they're unlocked. So eventually we may get to freely explore unlocked areas, but our range will be limited and more focused at first. Zeta Halo is littered with UNSC camps called Forward Operating Bases that were claimed by the
Also
Banished
so super
after
Open
the
World,
UNSC
ne?
lost the big fight.
Ja. Ne, nicht so wie
Clearing the
Assassin's
base and
Creed eben,
reclaiming it
ne?
replaces the Banished
Oh,
with
Audiolog.
upgrades. Even better, clear
Yeah,
distance
geil.
convert to instant fast travel points and earn you Valor. Worry not. Valor isn't some sort of spendable currency. It's instead a point-based tracker of how much ground the UNSC has on Zeta Halo. The more Valor
okay.
you have, the better backup and gear you can call in. As far as I could tell, earning Valor and reclaiming the Broken Ring is entirely optional. So what else can you do when you're not hunting down?
Gut, das ist halt schon wieder so eine Mechanik, ne? Erobere den Ring zurück und so Assassin's Creed mäßig. Monster 22, danke für den Follow.
She's meant to destroy
Thank you.
Cortana and is in turn supposed to be destroyed when her operation is complete. Though Cortana is seemingly gone, the weapon remains and is happy to assist Master Chief until she reaches her eventual demise. Much like Cortana, the weapon will call out enemy attacks, notable objectives, banish facilities that need destroying, and Marines in need of
Das sind
rescuing.
also alles Marine
I was more
Squads,
likely
die da
to
irgendwie
cross
am
random
Start sind.
patrol
Auf der
enemies
Map
than
haben wir
an
gerade
actual
gesehen.
objective, but it didn't feel like I had to go too far to find something fun to do. I enjoyed the quiet moments though. Following Zeta Halo's native space
Wildlife,
or just
die kennen wir aber schon
enjoying
von den
the
Big Team
view was a
Maps.
pleasant reprieve from the action. When I was ready to get back to it though, I could also hunt down and eliminate special targets to collect a unique version of their signature weapon that's equipable at FOBs. And of course, there are plenty of collectibles. A new scanner tool does make them a bit easier to find, if you have an idea of where to look. The
Okay.
scanners range
Boah, muss ich mir jetzt mal alles eine Scanner-Tool, das ist so ein bisschen wie dieses, was sie auch in Halo 5 reinmachen wollten, ne? Dass man so diese Welle hat, ne? Und dann konnte man scannen. Scanner-Tool. Und dann haben sie ja noch, was hat sie gesagt? Ach ja, Unique Weapons, ne? Also, dass man Special BR dann haben kann und so. Aha. Das ist cool. Prometheus View. Yes, Promethean Vision. Right. But only for, I'm not sure if it's for enemies or just for collectibles and special weapons you can find.
range is rather limited though, so it's not a free pass to finding secrets.
Oh.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Grunt and Marine dialogue. They're hilarious. The Grunts are as silly and oddly aggressive as ever, and have a surprising number of lines.
Humans would never fight grunts like us. He's here!
While the Marines are far more confident and excited about joining the Chief in battle. Their commentary made exploring all the more enjoyable.
Just in the nick of time, Chief.
Das ist gut und wichtig, ne? Dass die Marines auch gute Dialoge haben, ne? Das ist schon auch ziemlich wichtig und nice. Marine Dialogue. So. Tools of the Trade. Ja, let's go.
Just because Zeta Halo is a larger, more open sandbox doesn't mean 343 suddenly has us doing puzzles or tasks unbecoming of a genetically augmented super soldier like Master Chief. Fighting enemies and destroying their stuff is always at the center of Halo Infinite's gameplay, and whether I was taking on a roaming pack of Banished or infiltrating a fortress for a story mission, the more open nature only served to give me more options for combat.
Ne, also was jetzt immer klarer wird, was so das Gefühl ist, man spielt die Story, hat aber nebenbei eben noch diese großen Areale, wo man zusätzlich Stuff machen kann, wie eben in den Ring befreien, ne? Aber die Story ist halt immer noch so der Main Focus, also ob man jetzt sagt, ich befreie Zeta Halo oder nicht, hat bestimmt dann ein anderes Ende oder sowas, das könnte ich mir gut vorstellen, aber es ist nicht der Hauptfokus, ne, sondern es ist ein cooler Spielplatz so nebenbei, aber man kann da auch einfach so durchgehen und fühlt sich wirklich, als wäre man auf diesem Ring, weil halt keine Ladezeiten und so, geht aber der Story einfach nach und muss da jetzt nicht andauernd irgendwelche Sachen machen, die, ja, wie sie halt einfach sehr gut zusammengefasst, ne, Fetch-Quests, also hier WoW-mäßig, geh da hin und hol mir 30 Wildschweinknochen, ne, und so, ne. Also das, ja, ist dann jetzt nicht so die Sache.
If you've had a chance to check out either of the multiplayer test flights, Halo Infinite's excellence in weaponry should come as no surprise. The campaign introduced me to other interesting weapons we've yet to see in multiplayer, like the Disruptor.
Haben wir im Multiplayer schon gesehen. Unwissend.
But heals up pain over time. The equipment we've seen in multiplayer unsurprisingly takes on a more powerful form in the campaign.
Ja, das kennen wir auch schon mit den Upgrades und das ist ja auch sehr cool.
Threat sensor, drop wall, and thruster can be upgraded with a collectible called Spartan Cores.
Ja.
Ja,
das ist so ein bisschen wie in Doom, ne, mit den Spartan Cores. Hier, ne, ja.
Master Chief won't start the adventure with all equipment either. You'll find new tools to play with at specific story beats. Lacking a piece of equipment doesn't necessarily mean you're blocked off from certain areas from what I saw, but getting to or taking on difficult encounters might be more manageable should you have more equipment.
Ja, es kommt so mal um die Schwierigkeiten, ne? Sie meinte ja, dass das irgendwie schwierig ist.
These offer a more classic Halo experience. Grunts, Jackals, Brutes and Elites made up the bulk.
Boah, das sieht aber schon cool aus. Da hat man das da im Hintergrund gerade gesehen. Hier, da mit diesen schrägen, da rumschwebenden Forerunner-Sachen und so. Guckt euch das mal an. Das sieht schon echt sehr nice aus. Also.
Their role, weapon and armor variety didn't feel lacking in combat. I came across one set of brutes that were so geared up they nearly qualified as a mini boss fight. The hunters make a return too, and are fun to fight as always. This being another ring, the Flood was alluded to, though I never saw them. The Prometheans weren't present either. 343's vision of recapturing the essence of combat evolved in Halo Infinite means there's not really room for them, and honestly, I had plenty of fun without them. I didn't see any drones either.
Naja. Stopp mal eben. Also sie hat jetzt gerade gesagt, was krass wäre. Die Flood und die Prometheans kamen nicht vor. Das stimmt. Das wissen wir bisher noch nicht. Aber ich fände es, das haben wir in den vergangenen Streams ja auch schon gesagt, wenn nicht Mitte des Spiels oder so dann ein Twist kommt, von wegen, hier habt ihr noch einen Gegnertyp, die Flood oder Prometheans oder so, man immer nur, also nur in Anführungsstrichen, die sind ja schon alle sehr cool designt, aber nur die Dings bekämpft und so, dann... Ich weiß ja nicht, ne? Also, es ist ja allein schon komisch, was soll mit der Story dann sein, so, ne? Und hier, also die Flood ist einfach eine coole Sache. Fände ich eigentlich schon sinnvoll, wenn die zurückkehren würde. Und naja, Prometheans, ja, das ist, ne, kann ja mitnehmen, kann ja auch sein lassen, ne? Muss jetzt nicht unbedingt sein, ne? Aber Wächter wären schon auch noch so eine Sache, die mindestens mal drin sein sollte und generell irgendwie, ne? Also, ich bin mal sehr gespannt und die größte Frage, wie gesagt, ja, aber das wird ja auch scheinbar irgendwie zumindest so ein bisschen immer weiter beantwortet mit Cortana, was das überhaupt soll. Ich meine, die hatte doch eigentlich plötzlich die ganze Macht in der Galaxie, die Menschheit unterjocht und jetzt, ne? Aber das müssen wir dann mal sehen.
So I'm hoping the new flying enemies equipped with hardlight weapons, the skimmers, will be their replacement. The real combat stars, though, are the boss fights. The first one with a brute lieutenant named Termonius absolutely kicked my ass at first on heroic difficulty. A moment without movement rewarded Termonius as he entered the encounter guns blazing and took me out twice in a row. I had been handling heroic without any issues up until that point, so I was stunned to see how Termonius' aggression and support from 2 Jackals paid off. I quickly got to work on a
das klingt doch gut mit den Bossfights, ne? Dass sie das jetzt mal eher so ein bisschen verstanden haben. Ja, ne? Wie es sein soll.
Thus far only explored a fraction of Halo Infinite. Though the map isn't as large as something you'd find in an Assassin's Creed. Far from it, I'd say. What it does hold seems to offer something more curated with excellent combat at its heart. The story part is what I'm most curious about now. 343 needs to stick the landing in the plot department, especially with regard to giving us a satisfying resolution to the Chief and Cortana's relationship.
Exakt, das ist schon wichtig.
Well-rounded classic Halo experience, then they'll have successfully and definitively made Halo their own. For more on Halo Infinite, check out our exclusive reveal of the new Streets multiplayer map and stay tuned all November long for more IGN first coverage.
Okay, dann haben wir das erledigt. Gut, das klang doch eigentlich auch mal weiterhin gut. Das haben wir auch schon gesehen. Jetzt gibt es noch von Game Informer auch noch ein kurzes Video. Ja, das können wir uns auch mal gerne anschauen.
Hello friends, welcome to a fresh look at the Halo Infinite campaign. I am Alex Stadnick, and I am joined by the man who wrote the cover story himself for Game Informer, Matt Miller. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
It is so good. We are taking an early look at the campaign today, and I've brought you here because I love your general impressions. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we're seeing, but what have you thought so far from our time watching Halo Infinite?
Yeah, I love the way these early looks, this is pretty early in the game, just shows off the pacing of combat. We get to see a lot of the grapple shot in action. I was surprised how much I was enjoying the grapple shot and the way that it got used during this early
demo. Red über die Story, bitte red über die Story.
Flow between, changing up weapons and
aber auch da, ne, dieses Forerunner-Ding, wo der gerade da rumläuft, sieht sehr cool aus. Mal wieder.
It's a great time, I think that they have nailed something about the feel of Halo combat as it felt like back in the old days of the early games.
Die Eliten haben auch wieder ihre Ausweichrollen.
And I guess I was surprised to see, we've seen it a couple times in this footage, but I was surprised at how much they use the grapple shot in combat and what effect it has on like the jackals, right? You can stun them with a little bop of that and then, pull yourself in or and I love that. So, we are looking at
die droppen auch direkt diese super aggressiven Brute. Oh, gegen Marines, was geht denn da ab? Oh Mann, das ist ja das finde ich gerade richtig geil. Habt ihr das gesehen? Das sieht einfach direkt wieder so nach diesem geilen Chaos aus und Mayhem irgendwie und dann sehe ich dann noch die Marines, die dann erzählen, oh no, grenade, und dann schreien die alle rum und du denkst dir so, yes.
But there's some really interesting stuff that you can do in these base sections here.
Yeah, you get to these places where they're like these big battles where you're infiltrating major banished bases and pushing your way up and into them, and you get to choose the way that you do that. Here's a very much kind of full-on frontal assault kind of approach. But they talked about ways that you could do it a different way, and shape the way that you approach an encounter.
Spartan Core hier wieder.
And littered around, obviously the whole open world, right, is these Spartan Cores. They affect your upgrades, right, and how you can upgrade things like the grapple shot or some of the other equipment. So, I know we're going quick here, but we're about to see one of the new weapons in Halo Infinite that we haven't seen before. This is coming up here is the Stalker rifle. I guess we have the Bulldog shotgun out still, but I love the feeling of the Bulldog from my time playing the multiplayer tech test. I think it's a nice entry into the shotgun family of Halo. So and then obviously, we've seen a bunch, but the fusion coil tossing probably will never get old.
You can grab those with the grapple shot, by the way, which is fun from a distance.
Yeah. But here's the Stalker. It really feels like, from what we've seen, it feels like kind of the Carbine's cousin with a little bit more power to it. You saw that only has a couple of shots there.
Mischung aus Beam Rifle und Karabiner, also wirklich, ja.
It's not as quite as
aber kennt man ja auch schon, haben wir glaube ich auch schon mal irgendwo gesehen.
Obviously semi-automatic, but and unfortunately we're almost coming to the end here, but we get another look at the equipment here, a sensor, which I believe was Joe.
Da hört man im Hintergrund auch tatsächlich noch, wie die da in der Base, wo der gerade drin ist, der Brute so über Lautsprecher so eine Ansage macht. Einmal in Gang 3 bitte, ne, da muss schon mal irgendwer aufräumen, ne, da hat der Herbert gestern noch hingekotzt und nee, also wenn da Gäste kommen, ne, wenn der Ski vorbeikommt und darauf ausrutscht, ne, dann haben wir echt ein Problem. Da sind so viele kleine Details, ne, die finde ich einfach geil. Das ist irgendwie, weiß ich nicht.
Joseph Staten's favorite, if I remember.
Yeah, the threat sensor. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, which, it's not a revolutionary idea for video games, right? Being able to see enemies through walls, but we've been assured that especially on Legendary Edition or Legendary difficulty, you are going to need all the extra eyes that you can get. So, yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you. This is a quick look, like we said, but so thank you for joining us. If it wetted your whistle, we have another quick video about the campaign that we're posting simultaneously. So thank you for watching. Be sure to check that out. And we have so much more content as the rest of the month goes on. So thank you. Be good to one another, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube.
Oh Mann, ey. Ach. Froh bin ich, Freunde, froh.